Now, the other big factor in this, of course, is air quality. It's so interesting, Tracy. Right now, where we're standing, it's actually pretty clear. It's the clearest I've experienced it in a couple of days. But then look at where you're at. You see the ash falling, just how thick the smoke is in that area. What can you tell us about the overall air quality?
Oh, well, you know what? A picture is worth 1,000 words. Just look back behind me here. This is Jenkinson Lake. We're in Pollock Pines. This particular area has been evacuated, but I definitely think the sky pretty much tells a story. So when we were here earlier before the sun came up, you knew it was smoky, but now that the sun has come up, and just so you know, I don't see the sun. That's just how obscure the sky is. It just lets you know that air quality is really going to be a problem for people who are downwind of the Caldor Fire, like the Pollock Pines area, where we are looking at some hazardous air quality. So we throw out a lot of terms with air quality, and I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of break it down for you. The term we've been using is AQI, Air Quality Index. So what does that mean? Air Quality Index is a reading that kind of tells you how much small particulate matter, really small things that sometimes are invisible to the naked eye, how much of them are in a volume of air. And the smaller the particles, the more they can get into the respiratory system and the more they can compromise your health. And wildfire smoke can make anyone sick, whether you have health issues, respiratory concerns or not. So take a look at this graphic, Air Quality Index, and it's going to be breaking down for you some of the things I just mentioned. It talks about the fact that it involves particles, ozone, carbon monoxide. It's extremely hazardous to your health and can vary greatly depending on local winds. And here's the breakdown. So where I am right now, just in case you're wondering, the local AQI in Pollock Pines is 326. That would make it hazardous. That means you shouldn't be outside during any portion of the day if you can help it. 201 to 300 is very unhealthy. 151 to 200, the red is unhealthy, and then the orange showing unhealthy for sensitive groups. The takeaway from all this is it will vary depending on where you are today. The winds have everything to do with the forecast, so you want to take a look at your air quality before you walk out the door this morning. You want to know what you're in for. You got to definitely get your kids prepared. And I have a special mask for this. I have the N95 mask. It's a little bit more flush up against the skin, and so it doesn't let as much air in, and it's a little safer. It does a better job of filtering out a lot of those small particles. That's what's happening here right now in Pollock Pines. But for what will be happening throughout the day with your air quality, I'm going to throw things inside to our morning meteorologist, Rob Carmark.
All right, Tracy, thanks for that. A very helpful explainer. You know, sometimes you and I will talk about these things, just kind of toss it out there, but to actually spend time to explain it is really helpful, especially on a day like today when it really matters. So let's go ahead and show you the smoke forecast. You know, this is, again, going to change hour by hour, but let me point out some of the highlights. Truckee, South Lake Tahoe, much improved air quality compared to yesterday. But remember, folks, as long as these fires are burning and the wind direction is going to shift hour by hour, it's not guaranteed it's going to be that way all day long. So we are looking at decreased air quality in that spot later on today. The foothills is the one spot I can guarantee just will not see much improvement at all today. You're just sandwiched in between. Even with the 180-degree wind shift, it keeps it in your area pretty much all day long. For places like Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto, in the overnight hours, you see that green moving in. That's your classic Delta breeze. That wind speed and also direction is going to help mix things up at the ground level, and that's going to help you in the morning. But remember, there's so many fires. It really is just a matter of time before it comes back, and I'm looking at tomorrow evening. It looks like it could be pretty bad again in the Tahoe Basin. Unfortunately, folks, as long as the fires are burning, that means more smoke is ejected into the atmosphere, and the wind's going to move it around hour by hour. You just got to track it, and like Tracy mentioned, you know, there's a bunch of apps, there's a bunch of different things. Even your watch can sometimes help you tell you what's going on in your local area. Now, at the moment, I'm not seeing very strong winds, which is helpful. However, later on today, we are expecting the winds to pick up, and there's some good news to leave you with. In the Sierra, that red flag warning is going to drop later on this morning by 11 o'clock. So there is good news. However, for the valley spots north of Sacramento, dry and windy all day long until sunset.